and pronunciation differences between American and British English. Welcome back, English language learners. Today, we're diving into a topic that so many people ask about but rarely get a full answer: the difference between American and British pronunciation. This is especially useful if you're preparing for the TOEFL Speaking section. Starting in 2026, the test includes a listen and repeat task. The challenge? Sometimes the speaker will have an American accent and sometimes a British accent. Now, don't worry, you don't have to copy the accent like an actor. TOEFL only cares about one thing: intelligibility. But here's the problem. If you don't know the differences between the two accents, you might feel confused or even repeat words incorrectly. So today, let's get clarity. And to help us, I'm joined by Dr. Byrnes, our pronunciation expert. Dr. Byrnes, before we look at the differences in sounds, let's start with a basic question. When people say standard American English and standard British English, what exactly do they mean?
That's a great starting point. In America, there are many regional accents: Boston, New York, the South, California, and more. But when linguists talk about standard American English, they're usually referring to the Midwestern accent, especially from places like Ohio and Indiana. We call this General American, or GA. And the reason it's considered standard is because it doesn't carry strong regional coloring.
What do you mean by regional coloring?
Well, if you hear a Boston accent, you might notice they drop the R, like saying park the car instead of park the car. If you hear a Southern accent, vowels stretch out. High becomes ha. But with a Midwestern accent, you really can't tell where the person is from. It sounds neutral. That's why it became the accent of television, Hollywood, and news broadcasters.
Got it. So General American is basically the neutral American accent used in media. What about the British side?
In Britain, the equivalent is called received pronunciation, or RP. This is the accent traditionally linked to educated speakers in southern England. It's sometimes called the BBC accent because for many years, BBC broadcasters were trained to use it. Like General American, it became the reference accent for schools, dictionaries, and formal situations.
So, for TOEFL purposes, when we say American English, we really mean General American, or GA. And when we say British English, we really mean Received Pronunciation, or RP.
Exactly. And knowing that baseline is important because when we compare the two accents, we're really comparing GA with RP, not with strong regional accents like Cockney or Southern American English.
Perfect. Now that we've set the stage, let's move into the fun part: the actual pronunciation differences in vowels and consonants.
It may surprise you, but most native English speakers cannot teach the mechanics of their own language. Things like phonemes, phonological changes, syllabication, rhythm units, or pitch movements across words. They speak English naturally, but they don't remember how they learned it. In many Asian cultures, a teacher is someone who has walked the same path you are now taking. Dr. Nanhee Byrnes has done exactly that. A native of Korea, Dr. Byrnes came to the United States to pursue a PhD in philosophy and quickly realized that near-native English was essential for her academic and professional success. Immersing herself in American life helped, but only up to a point. Some words remain impossible to pronounce, and native speakers' shifting pitch and speed were a mystery. To break through, Dr. Byrnes turned to phonetics and the study of prosody in linguistics. That changed everything. What once sounded like a blur of noise became clear, meaningful patterns, the music of English. With this knowledge, her English became accurate, confident, and natural. Now, Dr. Byrnes shares that knowledge with learners worldwide. Her pronunciation and prosody courses are designed to help you stop spewing sounds into the air like audio pollution, and instead speak English clearly, purposefully, and with the confidence that makes every word count. Visit www.nanheebyrnes.com for details.
So, what is the main difference between American and British English?
It has to do with the vowel sounds. So let's begin by comparing the vowel charts of the two accents. First, here's the American English vowel chart. In American English, we don't have pure A and O used on their own. Instead, those sounds only appear as parts of diphthongs. Now, here's something important to remember. In English, a vowel phoneme can be made of 1, 2, or even 3 sounds. If it has just one sound, we call it a monophthong.
Okay, so if it has 2 sounds, that's a diphthong, and 3 sounds would be a triphthong.
Exactly. And triphthongs are something you'll only really hear in British English. In general American English, there are 10 monophthongs, single vowel sounds, plus 5 diphthongs. Some linguists debate whether the schwa should count as a separate phoneme since it only appears in unstressed syllables, but for clarity, let's include it. So the 10 monophthongs in American English are I, E, A, O, A,
And the 5 diphthongs are A as in they, play, I as in idea, light, Oi as in boy, join, O as in show, go, and ow as in sound, how. So in total, American English has about 15 vowel phoneme sounds.
Exactly. Now, let's compare that with British English vowels. British English uses a slightly different system. It has 12 monophthongs, divided into 7 short vowels and 5 long vowels. Short vowels are E, A, O, Long vowels are I, U, O, A.
What about diphthongs?
British English has 8 diphthongs. Along with the 5 American diphthongs, these 3 are considered diphthongs in British English. Ear, as in dear, beer. Air, as in fair, care. Ur, as in poor, tore. And these are British English triphthongs, that is, 3 vowel sounds in a row within one syllable. Hour, as in sour, cower. Ayer, as in player, layer. Ire, as in fire, liar. Oyer, as in lawyer. Ower, as in lower, mower.
Wow! From just looking at these vowel charts, I can already spot several differences.
Good eye, exactly. Let's go through them one by one.
One thing I noticed is that American English seems to lack low rounded back vowels.
Exactly. American English has a smaller number of vowels compared with British English. For example, o and all are common in British accents, but in general American, these rounded back vowels are almost gone or much simpler. If you watch British shows versus American ones, you'll notice the difference. Americans don't round their lips as much.
So, what happened to the words that retain these vowels in British English when they came to America?
Great question. Many of these vowels were merged with other nearby vowels in American English. Let's start with a father-bother merger. In British English, father is pronounced father with a long R, but bother is bother with a rounded O. 2 distinct vowels. In American English, however, both words use the same vowel, ah. So father and bother rhyme. Father, bother. That's our first major difference. Next, the cot merger. In American English, many words that used to be pronounced with O are now pronounced with ah. In regions of the U.S. without this merger, cot and caught are pronounced differently, cot and caught. But in standard American English, they sound the same, cot. There's also a notable vowel shift in American English, the shift from ah to a. In Britain, words like aunt, bath, laugh, class, chance, and ask are pronounced with ah. But in America, they're all pronounced with a. Aunt, bath, laugh, class, chance, ask. So in American English, aunt and aunt sound the same. So far, can you see a pattern? American vowels are simpler, while British English preserves more distinctions.
Here's another subtle one. Vowel length. In British English, vowels are categorized as long or short. So E in fleece is long, while I in kit is short. But in American English, vowels are often categorized as tense or lax.
Excellent observation. In American English, vowel length is not an inherent property of the vowel. Instead, it's a prosodic feature, meaning the length depends on stress and context. For example, if a vowel is stressed or followed by a voiced consonant, it will be held longer. Compare beat and bead. Both have E, but the vowel in bead is longer because it's followed by the voiced D. This is also related to a phenomenon called prefortis clipping, where vowel sounds are shortened before voiceless consonants.
Now let's talk about the famous R sound.
Yes, American English is called a rhotic accent. Rhotic comes from the Greek letter rho. A rhotic accent means that the sound is pronounced in every position, especially after a vowel in a syllable, like in car, ear, and butter. British English, on the other hand, is a non-rhotic accent. That means the sound disappears after vowels in a syllable. So car becomes caw, and butter becomes butta. This is one of the most obvious differences you'll notice in listening tasks. It also has a side effect. In American English, the vowel before gets colored by it. That's why we talk about R-colored vowels, like in teacher or in bird. These do not exist in British English. When R comes between two vowels in American English, the vowels before R can be controlled by the R sound and changed. A famous example is Mary, Mary, and Mary merger. In British English, all three words are pronounced differently. Mary, marry, Mary. But in American English, all three vowels have merged, so all three words are pronounced the same, Mary. This is an example sentence. Mary was merry to marry. Mary was merry to marry. Another merger is with mirror and nearer. In British English, the vowels of mirror and nearer are different. Mirror has an I, while nearer has a diphthong of ia. But in American English, the vowels in mirror and nearer are pronounced the same, as both are realized as mirror and nearer. This is called the mirror-nearer merger. She looked in the nearer mirror. She looked in the nearer mirror.
I've noticed that in British English, vowels seem to keep their dictionary quality even when they're not stressed. But in American English, unstressed vowels often just sound like schwa.
Exactly. That's a key difference. In American English, when vowels are in weak or unstressed syllables, they tend to reduce to schwa. For instance, salon becomes salon, and comma is comma.
Oh, so this is the weak vowel merger.
Right. It means that vowels that are different in the dictionary can actually sound the same in running speech. For example, affect noun and affect verb sound the same as both start with a. Abbot and rabbit can rhyme because the second syllable reduces to a. Roses and rosas often sound identical. Even Lenin and Lenin can merge into Lenin.
How do these words sound in British English?
In British English, unstressed vowels often keep their distinct qualities. For example, rabbit, abbot, effect, affect, roses, roses. Even names like Lenin and Lenin are pronounced differently in British English. Lenin, Lenin.
So the pattern is clear. Unstressed vowels in American English almost always get reduced to schwa.
Exactly. That's why American English often sounds more relaxed compared to British English.
Then there's the flap T, so famous that some people even call it the American T sound. In words like butter, water, writer, we just make a quick tap of the tongue on the alveolar ridge.
Right. That's what makes American English sound so smooth. Some even say buttery.
So how does British English feel without the flap T sound?
Without the flap T, British English often sounds sharper or more crisp. For example, in received pronunciation, you'll clearly hear the t in butter or water.
So instead of that smooth American buttery flow, British English keeps the consonants more distinct, making their sound more crisp and clear. And flap T doesn't happen only with T, does it?
Correct. The flap T in American English doesn't only replace T, it also replaces D in the same environment between vowels when the second vowel is unstressed.
So that's why words like writer and writer, ladder and ladder end up sounding the same.
Exactly. Metal and coding sound the same. So in American English, the flat T is really the flat T/D. It neutralizes the distinction between T and D in those unstressed positions.
I noticed something really interesting. When I watch British shows like The Crown, sometimes people say words like toon or doon one way, like tjuân and doon. But then in other shows, like Sherlock, I hear them say tjuân and tjuân. What's going on there, Dr. Byrnes?
Great observation. This is all about yod retention and palatalization in British English. In careful or posh RP, the yes sound, what linguists call the yod, is kept after certain consonants. So toon is tune and doon is doon, and the t or d remains almost unchanged.
Okay, that's the posh version. But what about when it sounds like tjuân or june?
That's palatalization. In some varieties of British English, instead of keeping the yod sound fully, t or d and the y are combined to make the palatal sounds ch or j. So toon becomes tune, like tune, and doon becomes June, like June. This happens more in casual British English.
So there is a difference between posh English and casual English in British English. And what about American English?
In most American accents, the y sound is dropped entirely after alveolar consonants like t, d, n, s, z. So tune becomes tune. Dune becomes dune. News becomes news. No palatalization happens. That's one reason American English often sounds smoother and faster, fewer subtle consonant shifts.
Wow, that explains why sometimes the same word can sound so different depending on the British speaker or the show I'm watching.
Exactly. Once you know this, you can spot it and reproduce it accurately when repeating or shadowing.
After today, it's much easier to tell if the speaker is using British or American English.
Good. But remember, for TOEFL's listen and repeat task, you don't have to imitate the accents. The key is intelligibility. Pick one accent and make sure your speech is clear and easy to understand.
Got it. Focus on clarity, not imitation. That's how you get top marks. Thank you, Dr. Byrnes. See you next time.
My pleasure. Bye.